How's it going, everyone? This is Bingbox, and today we have another Let's Demo. I do not have Crysis 3, but today we're going to demo Crysis 2. Alright, so as always, we're going to go into our options, and of course, we're going to go to graphics. Okay, of course, resolution's the same as always. Full screen, yes. VSync is on. You could turn it off, but there's a little bit of screen tearing that kind of annoys me, so I'm going to keep that on. Alright, and of course, DX11. Our system specs are going to be custom. As you can see, we're going to advanced graphics, and we're going to turn everything to extreme. Everything except post-processing. Okay, so as you can see, game effects, object, particles. I'm not sure what every one of these does. Of course, shading and shadow and water, I know. But game effects, I'm not quite sure. Now here you can see that all the menus actually start on high. High, very high, extreme, or ultra. I guess it's kind of give you the impression that this game is really intense and you're getting nothing but the best. But the lowest, which is considered low, is actually high. So we're going to turn post-processing to high. Because as the other games I have stated, we don't need everything to its max. Especially anti-aliasing. Okay? And then we're going to go to our game just to show you guys. I turned on subtitles and then HUD bobbing. That's HUD bobbing. So what happens is that your HUD, your health bar, and your ammo, those will move up and down like a screen, like you would see in Iron Man's HUD or something like that. I turned that all the way down to 0 because in this game, with this laptop, you don't have the best hardware. So in my opinion, you don't need that HUD bouncing around. That HUD I'm talking about is that map right there, and then the energy bar right there. That will move as you move. And you want to squeeze every bit of performance out that you can get, and I don't think bobbing HUDs is going to really, add to my experience. I think I'm okay with the HUD moving, or keeping still rather. As you can see, the smoke and the fire and the water all looks really, really good. This is again on extreme setting, all except anti-aliasing post-processing. Okay, so this is really, really crisp, and you can tell the difference between ultra and extreme. Unlike some other games, it's hard to tell the difference, and usually it's just post-processing that's the difference. But honestly, this game, there's a lot of differences between the Ultra and the Extreme. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. I would say a decent amount, though. You can tell that the shadows and the textures are just a little bit deeper in the Ultra setting. Looks like that water there, it doesn't really make much of an effect, but it looks good. Although there was no rippling there. I'm not sure if the effects there would actually change if it was on Ultra. Okay, so everything looks really good, and as you can see in the top, oh, you cannot see. I'm sorry I didn't record this, but basically this whole game is running on between 50 to 60 FPS, and some really intense fights, and a lot of gunfire, and a lot of movement, and a lot of explosions, just like this. The FPS will drop down to, I don't know, about 42 to 45, usually no less than that, unless you're on Ultra setting. But on this setting, it would probably drop down to the low 40s in really intense fights sometimes. But overall, when you're looking at this scene right here, I'm sorry I didn't have the HUD recorded. I thought I did. I'm sorry I didn't have the FPS there. But I'm telling you right now, in a scene like this, you're probably looking at between 50 to 55 right now, in this scene right here. Okay, and actually, this is a pretty crowded scene with a lot of anti-aliasing, and again, anti-aliasing is on some level. I'm not sure how many times anti-aliasing it is on the high setting, but it is working at some level, and I think the game looks great without from the high to the ultra high. You actually can't really tell that much on this computer, on this screen. Again, this is another reoccurring thing with this computer, is that you actually don't need super high anti-aliasing because the pixels are packed so well in such a nice screen that's not necessary to have the highest anti-aliasing. As you can see on the sides, the textures and the edges look smooth. I mean, there's no jagged edges, there's no shininess. Sometimes there are. But otherwise, everything looks good. I mean, the table there, a bunch of these objects, these all look good. Maybe a little sharper than they have to be. But, I mean, to sacrifice that power for, you know, those FPSs, I think that's worth it. Okay, so again, like I said, I'm sorry I don't have Crysis 3 yet. I'm waiting for it to actually go on sale before I buy it because I haven't even finished Crysis 1 or 2. But I'm just doing this for you guys right now. And once it does go on sale, I can test it out for you. But as you can see in this game, it's already on extreme setting. It's not on the ultra setting. You cannot play this game with good FPS on the ultra setting. In this type of scene right here with all the blood and the heartbeat and the firing and the shadows and the lighting, you're probably only going to get about 30 FPS on this scene right here. Once this slows down and there's not much going on, no gunfire, and you're probably getting around low 40s to high 40s on a good scene. Indoors, you can still get about 60 FPS on Ultra, but that's very rare. So again, like this scene, you would definitely, on all Ultra settings, you would definitely drop down to probably to low 40s, if not high 30s on this scene here. Because there are a lot of shadows and smoke and leaves. So yeah, like I said, once I get Crysis 3, I will upload a new video of that when the time comes. But this should be a good benchmark to show you that if Crysis 3 is better in terms of graphics and firepower and horsepower than this game, then you can definitely expect to be playing Crysis 3 on extreme or even less. So as you can see, the shadows are really nice. They're really fluid. They're not too jagged, and they just have a nice texture to them on that siding there. There's a lot of shadows in this. And plus you see the heat rippling effects from the gun. The character model and the gun looks great. His hands. Again, on this inside scene here, you probably get around 60, 55 to 60 here. Again, V-Sync's on, so I'm not sure if it would kick up even higher than that. I don't like the screen tearing like I've said in other games, so I think keeping V-Sync on is important to me at least. But they really, you can see, they really densely populated this game with a lot of stuff in it. A lot of little textures, a lot of little details. They really did an incredible job, and no wonder this is such a benchmark for computer games. On this level here, I was probably getting around probably 50s, I would say, for the most part. And this is on extreme settings again. So, you know, you really don't want to be going lower than that, especially for an FPS where, you know, every shot counts and every twitch and every second counts. You know, you want those FPS. It's not worth sacrificing those FPS for a little bit of better graphics. Again, this laptop being able to play this on high is pretty damn impressive in itself. That smoke and the particles coming off of that just really look awesome. And even on the extreme setting, you know, the particles are all on extreme and everything. I mean, they still look really great. The difference is between this and Ultra is that everything's just a little bit deeper. The lighting in this level is fantastic. As you can see, there are some textures popping in and out, some items, and you know, trees and leaves and stuff, sometimes popping in and out once you get closer. you know, it happens.
I'll meet you back at the lab. Hurry.
Indoors here, I was getting about 60 to 62 actually in this scene. Now this is really cool. The water effect on the screen looks really, really fluid, looks really nice on top of the suit's helmet or the visor. And the sound for this game, I gotta say, is really incredible. I haven't tested it on the laptop speakers themselves, but, you know, through headphones, the sound in this game, I gotta say, is really, really nice. There's a lot of flashing lights, blinking, shadows, little crevices. They really put so much detail into this. No wonder this is such a hard game to run on a PC. And as you can see here, there's a lot of rippling from this misting and the smoke here, or the water. It's really, really nice. And you can see the rippling from the gun after it fires too. There's the heat ripples coming from it. So many little details that they paid attention to. Some of the other things in the game, like these little laptops and other things, the textures and the graphics don't look the best, but some of the stuff, like the character models and the guns, they really look fantastic.
Magnetic seals released. Warning. Foreign contaminant detected. Automatic system shutdown commencing. Security doors.
Sorry, it's a little bit dark here. Of course, in the darker scenes, you will get better FPS. It was about 60 in this scene. Again, the water ripple on the visors, again, very, very nice. And then we're going to pop out into this scene. Really, really bright. A lot of buildings, a lot of textures, a lot of particles, a lot of things going back and forth, bouncing, light. You can see the metal on the top there. It is a little bit jagged. Not necessarily jagged, but more sharp than jagged, I would say. But just look at the garbage bags on the left there. Everything looks just so crisp and so nice. And again, this is on the extreme setting. Okay, so this is the setting that I would recommend for this computer if you were to get the MSI GS60. And leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below to tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And I will see you guys next time. This is Bingbox.